let's start with invocation, prayer, Sahana Bhavatu.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 10. We'll chant from verse 17 to 22.
स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावनभूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमांस्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया विस्तरेणात्मनो योगम् विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्याह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठः नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना।
Arjuna's question starts from verse number 12 and it concludes with verse number 18. And last week we concluded with verse number 16.
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. So just to recap main points in the verse number 16. You should indeed speak without reserve of your divine glories, by which glories pervading these worlds you exist. So Arjuna is asking in layman's language, where is God? Where is supreme reality? It's, it's like dreamer asking where is mind in a dream. So every aspect of the dream world is nothing but a mind, fiber and fiber of the mind. So similarly, where is God? Where is supreme reality? So every aspect of the world is nothing but God. So there is no place where it does not exist. It is all pervading, it is infinite. Where is gold in the ornaments? You go to a jeweler's shop and you ask that question. And what will jeweler say? Gold is in the ring, gold is in the bracelet, gold is in the necklace. We can go on and on. So there is no end to it. Then the question is, if God is all pervading, if supreme reality is all pervading, how come we miss it completely? Most people, they miss it. So there are two reasons. I'm just recapping. Last week we already discussed. So when something is lavished, there is abundance of anything, any object or a being. So we miss it. So we give example of oxygen. I mean, what value do we have for oxygen? We take it for granted. What value we have for any part of our body? As long as it is functioning, no big deal. But when something goes wrong, then we start understanding the value. And third example we discussed was people who are born in wealth. They don't understand the value of wealth. Those who have earned wealth with their hard work, they will know. And it's not easy to earn wealth. But if you are born in riches, if you are born with a silver spoon in your mouth, genuinely you don't understand what it means not to have wealth. So supreme reality is lavished everywhere. So therefore we clean miss it. And the second main reason is we are caught up in the attractions of the world. We are completely entangled in all aspects of our personality, from physical level, from emotional level, from thought level. So due to this involvement in the world, and in most cases, the whole life we are involved. So the ordinary person neither has time nor inclination to pursue something higher. They are caught up in routine, mechanical, mundane existence. They don't have that query, which perhaps you and I may have, that what is it beyond all this? What's the purpose of life? Why am I born as a human being? Just to live life like any other creature is doing, acquire, enjoy, and then die one day? Or there is some other purpose to human existence, human birth? So you should be relatively free from worldly entanglement to start questioning on these lines. So therefore, though supreme reality is all pervading, we miss it completely. So these were the main points in verse number 16. I just recapped. So is group okay? Concepts are clear? Great. Verse number 17, please.
कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया कथं विद्यामहं योगिन् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया
Translation: How may I know you, O yogin, through constant meditation? In what all aspects are you to be thought of by me, O blessed Lord? So it's a very practical question Arjuna is asking here. And most of us, any sincere seeker, would have this question. So, what is he asking? Can anybody make a guess? So, when I say Arjuna, any sincere seeker would have this question. So, what exactly he is trying to ask? It's not difficult. Therefore, I am asking you to guess, And a lot of people have this question when they take to the spiritual path. They genuinely, any sincere seeker, initially he has this question. So, what exactly he is trying to ask from practical point of view? Underline the word practical.
He's asking who are you, where are you, and where do I find you?
Mhm. Anyone else? So, very, very practical question.
My question would be, what does it look like? I'm probably paraphrasing Arjuna's question here, but what does it look like throughout the day? Does it look like just keeping focused on supreme reality? Does it being kind and a good person in my business and my family and my just my daily activities wherever I go? Or is it a focal point? Is it, or wherever you want it, and is it a fractal? I don't know. What does this look like throughout the day?
Yeah.
So those are the things I think about when I think of this.
You're quite close. You're quite close.
How do I deepen my relationship with God?
Sorry, say that again.
How do I deepen my relationship with God?
Yeah, why not? So, what Arjuna is asking, any seeker would, sincere seeker would have this question: how do I stay focused on the God, Lord, or Supreme Reality in day to day life? So that's the question. Because there is confusion, at least this group, we have discussed this number of times, so you wouldn't have this confusion. But a lot of people, I would say, vast majority of the seekers, they have this confusion. They feel this is spiritual path, this is worldly path. They are totally different paths, that different activities. If it was so, then only a handful of people they can be spiritual, isn't it? The rest of the people, they have family, they have to go to work, they have business, so many activities are there. So, how to be spiritual in day to day life? So, it all depends on where are your thoughts. This is the definition of spirituality. It has got nothing to do with what you do, who you are, what you are, where you are placed. There is no connection. It has to do with the placement of your thoughts. If your thoughts are on something higher, if your thoughts are on the supreme reality, if you can extend to that, and then if you carry on with whatever you are doing in your life, you are a spiritual person because your thoughts are not wavering, thoughts are firmly planted on the Lord, on the supreme reality. And then you engage with the world, with your family, you go to work, you may go out with your friends and you may have fun, doesn't matter. But where are your thoughts? And every human being has this capacity to place his or her thoughts on the self in you, on the spirit in you, on the divinity in you, or on the body, mind, intellect. We are made up of these two, spirit plus matter. Spirit meaning divinity, you can use any word. So every human being has this unique capacity that you can focus your attention on any one of the component parts. You can focus on body, you can focus on mind, you can focus on intellect, or you can focus on the spirit in you, the Godhead in you. So if you focus on body, mind, intellect, most people they are doing that, then such a person is called as a worldly person. All perceptions, emotions, and thoughts, they are about the objects and beings of the world, what's happening in the world. There is no concept of anything beyond. But if you plant your thoughts on the Godhead in you, so that's the fourth entity in us, apart from body, mind, intellect, and then you carry on with whatever you are doing in your life. You never waver from that thought. You don't budge from that mission. It is always at the back of your mind. And such a person is a spiritual person. This is the definition of spirituality. So therefore, we are saying, who is spiritual? The whole world may say, okay, that guy is so, he goes to a church, he goes to a temple, he sincerely studies, he goes on a pilgrimage and whatnot. He's very religious in a layman's way, performs so many rituals. Per se, all these activities, they don't make you spiritual. Underline the word per se. That does not mean you don't do. You could be engaged in all these activities. You may go on a pilgrimage, you may go to a place of worship, but your thoughts could be completely on your own personality, on body, mind, intellect. There is no concept of the supreme reality. It is far from, such a person is far from spiritual. But a layman will say he is spiritual, she is spiritual. Where are your thoughts? So therefore, it's a very practical question. I have a family, I have a business, I like to play golf. Once in a while, I go on a vacation. Are these non-spiritual activities? There is no such thing. Where are your thoughts? So if you understand this basic theorem, then the rest of the verse is very easy. Then what are the ways you can do it? So intellectually, one of the ways you can do it is intellectually you understand what is behind every perception, action, feeling, and thought. So what enlivens my personality, your personality, is nothing but spirit, that divinity. So it is the divinity which makes me perceive. It is the same divinity which makes me act, feel emotions, think various thoughts. So your thoughts are on what backs perception, action, feeling, and thought. Same thing you can do when you interact with the world. See, there are different types of people. You come across pleasant experiences in life. Also, you come across some unpleasant experiences in life. Some people are good, some people are not so good, some people are righteous, some people are not righteous. So instead of focusing on their personality, perceptions, action, feelings, and thought, if you remind yourself that what enlivens their personality is the same divinity. So you may come across best of human being, or you may come across worst of human being. But if you shift your focus from the material components, which is body, mind, intellect, perception, action, feeling, and thought, to the self in that person, to the divinity in that person, then it is a constant reminder of divinity. Are you with me? I'm trying to explain it from practical point of view. Second way you could do it is oblate all your actions to something higher. Ignorant people, when they are acting, they are totally lost in the action, any activity, you can say. So you could get lost, you're rather lost in the result of the action. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? Or you could be lost in money, you could be lost in name, fame, reputation. So there is no concept of anything higher. So you are completely lost in the action. But instead, if you shift your focus to how can I perform this action to the best of my ability, or how can I become a better human being? And action is an opportunity to purify my personality. Are you with me? Same action in your workplace. One thing could be you're totally lost. Second way of functioning is you oblate same action. By oblate, I mean your focus is on something higher beyond action. How to perfect myself, so that I learn to relate to everybody. How can I improve as a human being? I have some strengths, I have some weaknesses, positive, negative qualities. So how do I become a positive person? And action is an opportunity for me to purify my personality. So your thoughts are on something higher. See, just as any actor, he may play various roles on the stage, and he plays those roles to the best of his ability. But his thoughts are never on the stage. Though he is giving his best, he has got nothing to do with the stage. His thoughts could be, how can I become a better actor? If I play this role, or how can I help the logistics of putting up this play? So the thoughts are on something higher. So exactly same thing you and I can do. Same thing applies for emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Are my feelings, are my thoughts, are my emotions, are they in line with my spiritual goals? Start at home to begin with. See, it's not necessary that all the time you're entertaining positive feelings. Once in a while we all slip into negative feelings towards your own spouse to begin with. So how can I get rid of these feelings, negative feelings, emotions? Same thing happening, could be happening at the workplace. Why am I entertaining negative feelings towards others? If at all I am entertaining, or once in a while I may slip into that. Why am I entertaining negative thoughts or biased thoughts? So though you are acting, but your focus is on something higher. And also, you need to surrender to the areas of your ignorance. So where do you surrender to the areas of your ignorance? That is knowledge, the knowledge of the scriptures, the knowledge of the Vedanta. So constantly you are fine-tuning your personality with this knowledge. How do I manage my relationships? We often mention few points. Do your duties, not your rights. I'm not getting into the details. So you get that knowledge here. So constantly you are purifying your personality. You're fine-tuning your personality when you surrender to this knowledge. What's my mission in life? How do I find true fulfillment in life? So you surrender to the areas of your ignorance. So when you do all this, you remain focused on the self, the supreme reality, the God, directly or indirectly. Otherwise, it becomes a theory, Nobody can. I mean, if 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a day, half an hour, okay, if you can think of the supreme reality in your day-to-day life, you must congratulate yourself. People go to a place of worship. Yes, there are sincere seekers, but good many people, they go there to socialize, you know. Last week, somebody invited me for Carnatic music concert, Veera, Radha and Veera, they are fond of Carnatic music, and I got a taste of that music from Swamiji. So the highest classical music is given out by enlightened masters. So while we are waiting for the performance to start, whatever people were discussing, everything was absolutely mundane. Some politics, I heard somebody discussing. Second person, group, they were discussing about Viking river cruise. There is something like that, right? Let's get together. Everything except the higher. And incidentally, that concert, that performance was in the temple, and in the temple they were performing the highest music. But where are the thoughts? You get my point. So it is impractical. So that is why I see Arjuna is a very practical person. He's a dynamic guy. He's a go-getter. He's saying, how do I do that, Krishna? It's not, looks impractical. You keep on saying, think of me, think of me, think of me. Okay, I mean, 5 minutes, half an hour max I can think of. So therefore, whatever points we discussed just now, this is the way to go about. So end of the day, it is the placement of your thoughts which decides whether you are a spiritual person or a worldly person or a mundane person. So how do you shift your thoughts from the world to the supreme reality? After answering the question in detail, again I am asking you. So how do you shift your thoughts from the world, the supreme reality? Simple one sentence answer I want. There is only one point in all the point, 3 or 4 points I discussed with you, but the bottom line is only one.
Through your
Where is it?
duties.
Sorry?
Through your duties.
Mm-hmm.
Where is your
Daily
focus
duties.
all the time?
Daily duty, all of us are doing daily duties. Have we become spiritual?
Where is your focus all the time?
That's the question. How do I change my focus?
Single point concentration.
Sorry?
Single point concentration, thinking of the mind.
How do I do that?
Change your mind in the middle of the negative thought, like, oh yeah, no. Go and gently.
Being
Okay.
aware of your thoughts.
Hmm?
Being aware of your thoughts, where they are going.
I
Okay.
would say, sir, it would be like chanting some mantra while you're working or doing things around the house or.
While fighting with your husband, how can you chant mantra? And don't take it personally.
Develop a habit of having a headlights. You just keep that thing back of your mind always, and every few hours or so, half an hour, you keep thinking, is I am on the right path? Is I am on the right path? Whether happy all said or argumental.
Always remind yourself, self is the unliving principle for the body, mind, and intellect, and focus on something higher.
You work, right? You work in the corporate sector, or you work for a long time. Where is the time? Morning till night, one meeting after the other, you're bombarded with this and that. What self? See, all of you are not wrong, but you're talking about the state. We are talking about the practice which takes you to that state. Your daily association with this knowledge, period.
Spiritual discipline.
There is no shortcut. Your daily association with this knowledge will gradually change your focus, nothing else. And none of you, again, don't take it personally, most of you don't want to study every day. But we all want to reach that state. How is it possible? Without cause, you want effect. Without going to the gym, I want fit body. Without eating healthy food, I want good health. How is it possible? Every day, if you do exercise, every day, if you watch what you are eating, you will be healthy. It is your daily association with this knowledge to begin with. 30 minutes to 45 minutes every day in the morning, early morning, as early as possible. Whatever is practical. We recommend 5 o'clock, but it depends on your lifestyle, not to worry. So if you associate with this knowledge every day, and gradually, if you get into systematic study and reflection, you'll be surprised to find that your thoughts are automatically planted on something higher, irrespective of what is happening around you. So there is no other way. So it's a very practical question from a very practical person. Arjuna symbolizes you and I. Verse number 18, please.
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम् विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम्.
Translation. Tell me again in detail, O Janardana, O Krishna, of your yoga and manifestation, for there is no satiety. How you pronounce that?
Satiety.
Satiety. For there is no satiety for me in hearing the nectarine. See, what is happening here is Arjuna is gradually beginning to understand the practical application of this knowledge. Again, Arjuna means you and I. That how do I apply this in day-to-day life? And he is beginning to understand the value of this knowledge. So therefore, he wants to know more. Oh, can you please tell me? Can you give me more insight into this knowledge? That is one way of understanding this verse. Second way to understand is anything of higher value, anything classical, is always refreshing. You don't get tired of that. I mean, you may read Gita 100 times, you may read Bible 100 times. So you cannot get tired of it. Whole life you get something out of it. You can keep going back to it over and over again, isn't it? As opposed to something which is very materialistic and sensual or worldly. Morning newspaper can you read in the evening? Or yesterday's news, can you watch it after a few days, however sensational it may be? So instantly it loses its value. Like songs, the gross songs, every few months there is some song on, I don't know, on the top 10 in America or top 2 in after 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, it is gone. I mean, who will go back to that song? But anything classical music, whole life you can enjoy. Detroit Symphony Orchestra, I've been there at least 3-4 times. Somebody invited me, and I wouldn't mind going 5 more times. So anything classical, even classical literature is always refreshing. So similarly, the study of the scriptures is always refreshing. You want more, you never get tired of it, as opposed to something worldly, material. So that is number one. Another point is Krishna's silence in 7 verses. It's a golden silence. And there is amazing psychology here which you and I have to learn. See, what is the state of Arjuna in these 6 verses when he's asking questions? He is emotionally charged. He has become very emotional. He has become very excited. So Krishna is very patiently observing Arjuna. He knows at some stage he will calm down. Same thing at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the entire first chapter and 10 verses of chapter 2. It is Arjuna who talks. Krishna does not even utter a word. He maintains silence for, I don't know, 50, 60 verses. So the practical application of this, and again, we have to apply this in our day-to-day life, is when somebody has become emotional. It could be your spouse, it could be your children, it could be your colleague, it could be your whoever. There is no point transacting with that person at that stage while he or she is emotional. But if your intellect is not powerful, that person has become emotional. You also immediately react. Your spouse says something to you, honey, today I don't know, I'm in a bad mood today. I mean, I don't like the look of you today. What do you mean? What have I done? I mean, how day, finished. Half the day gone. Both are screaming and yelling at each other. Same thing in your workplace. It's a very, very practical solution. I mean, the approach to life. When your son or daughter has become very emotional, you can't transact with him or her at that point. You can't react. If you react, if you try to transact, it will be absolutely madness. It will be like dealing with a mad person. He has become mad, and why are you also becoming mad? So when somebody has become emotional, you have to wait for his emotions to calm down. Then you can present your point. Are you with me? And also you find in life there are people who are very impulsive talkers. All the time they are talking, or somebody may become impulsive and not talk for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There's absolutely no point dealing with that person at that stage. Let him exhaust himself. At some stage, he or she will exhaust, and then you can present your point. So, therefore, I said it is a golden silence. So, when somebody is emotional, when somebody has become emotional, when somebody has become impulsive, you should not react. Let him or her exhaust his emotion, that impulse. And only when he or she calms down, then you can interact with that person. Otherwise, it's an absolute waste of time. And most people make this mistake. Matured person will not make this mistake. What is that maturity? Maturity is nothing but powerful intellect. So, therefore, silence is important. And ultimately, the state of self-realization is nothing but silence. So you're silent to the whole world. Sakshi, you're just observing what's happening in the world. Also, it is called as maunam. Maunam meaning shanti. And I think all the faiths, they have this maunam, the period of silence. You may observe it for a few hours in a day. You may observe it for half a day or whatever, couple of days. But you cannot do it mechanically. If you do it mechanically, it has got no meaning. Most people, they do it mechanically. But there is a meaning behind that. See, most of the time we are constantly reacting to the world. We are reacting, we are responding, we are reacting, we are responding. So there is no opportunity for us either to observe what's happening in the world or to look within what is happening inside my personality. For that, you need to be calm. So therefore, that period of silence, maunam, that's what is called in Sanskrit. When you observe that period of silence, you start observing the world outside you first to begin with, because it is easy. What's the nature of my spouse? What's happening around me? Otherwise you're constantly reacting. And the most important part is you become aware of your own inner personality. What types of thoughts, emotions, feelings am I entertaining? So therefore, that silence is useful. So it's a practice, it's not a state. Ultimate silence is a state which you can't practice, but you get a glimpse of that when you keep quiet for a while. But other than silence, the main important point here is not to react when people around you have become emotional and impulsive. Very, very practical point. Any person who is a leader, he has to have this quality. If you don't have this quality, you cannot be a leader. You may be a brilliant person in your own profession, but you cannot be a leader. It's a typical leadership quality. A leader is not emotional. He is not impulsive. He keeps quiet. And when there is a right opportunity, he will deal with that situation. He will interact with people. So these were the main points in verse number 18. And from 19, again, Lord speaks. Krishna's sermon starts. So that is topic 3, verse number 19 to 38. Is called Brahman's supreme manifestation shown analytically. Brahman is a Sanskrit word for supreme reality. So in these verses, whatever 20, 21 verses, we won't study these verses like verse by, verse wise. Usually we go like discuss every verse in detail. So some verses definitely will discuss the entire verse, but good many of them we will discuss important concepts, and also we will do some reference reading. It is useful because he is going to mention certain words, certain terms. There are some interesting stories. So we usually don't get into the stories, but once in a while it's okay where it is important, so that you understand the meaning behind that story, and then you can apply in your own life or whatever faith you are following. Most people, they are completely lost in these stories without understanding the meaning. So from that point of view, it is useful. Like, what is river Ganga? Why people are worshipping Ganga? I mean, there is a story behind that, but the message is important. There's the story of Amrut Manthan, like churning of the Milky Ocean. What is that? So like that, few references we will discuss. So verse number 19, please.
श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि देव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठः नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठः नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे
Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the Blessed Lord said, well, or alas, I will declare to you my divine glories in chief, O best of the Kurus. There is no end to my detailing. So he says, alas, the word hanta means alas. I will explain what it means. There is a hint of a sarcasm there. So you want me to, I already told you I am everywhere, and still you want to know where I am? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. He's already told him. So therefore, there's a hint of sarcasm, Well, alas, I will briefly explain to you my divine glories. Again, go back to the dream and waking state example. There is no end to describing mind in a
Dream state.
dream state. This is mind, that is mind. Even if you say it 1 trillion times, still it will not be over. So similarly, the entire world is nothing but supreme reality. So where do I tell you where is supreme reality? It is in A, it is in B, it is in C, it is in Z. And even if I explain to you all these things, you will ask me, okay, tell me more. So there is no end to my detailing. So why he says anta? Well, alas, again, it is meant for all of us. See, majority of the seekers, they are content with knowing just the manifestation of supreme reality or manifestations of supreme reality. But hardly anybody puts efforts to go within and clinch that supreme reality. Yes, supreme reality is everywhere. But to apprehend that, you have to wade through your desires. That understanding is within you. It is subjective apprehension. You cannot understand it objectively. This is what Arjuna is doing. So therefore, you find people, they go on a pilgrimage. We're not saying it is wrong. Fine. I mean, it is the beginning of, you can say, spirituality, spiritual growth. But you go to one temple, one church, you go to 10, are you going to be satisfied? Or there are people who are quite ritualistic, Yes, rituals have a meaning if you need that, but then they are not going to be content with that. The whole life may go in rituals, but then when are you going to apprehend that reality? When are you going to put efforts to get there? So to get to the reality, supreme reality, what is it you have to do? You have to conquer your what?
Desires.
To conquer your desires. And how do you conquer your desires? Through your daily study reflection, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. So people are just content with this manifestation. You get that momentary inspiration. You go on a pilgrimage, you get that momentary inspiration, and then what after that? For a time being, you're okay. Again, you plan your next pilgrimage, or you want to visit next temple or whatever it is, place of worship. So therefore, there is a hint of element of sarcasm, which is meant for all of us. Grow out of all this. He's not against it. He said, "Come on, Arjuna. I mean, I thought you had grown out of all these things. Again, you want to slip back into that same frequency." There is a story of a seeker. All these stories, they have a meaning. Very sincere seeker, very, very devout he was. So he went all over the world seeking God, all the places of worship he visited, all the major rituals he performed. I don't know how many of you have heard of Kumbh Mela in India. It is the largest gathering of humanity in the world. And hardly any police force is there. Everybody is, Satvik, and I don't know, hundreds of people die also there every year in a stampede and all that. So he went there, he went to all the 4 dhams in Himalayas and all that. All the places of worship he visited, but he did not find God. And when he got fed up, and he came to his own town, and he was in his small little room, and early morning he was perhaps studying. That time he heard the voice, I'm here, I'm here. It was the voice of the God. See, don't take it literally, it's all symbolic. So he went all over the world, he did not find God, and he did not go gambling, he did not go no nonsense. He was a sincere seeker. He did not find God. But when he was alone in his room, in the moment of silence, he heard the voice of God. I am here, meaning I am within you. So that applies to all of us. But how do you get to that state is the question. You have to wade through your desires. You have to put your efforts. There is no other way. See, those who have studied chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, even if you have missed it, don't worry. He uses the word swadhyaya jnana yajna. He said the highest thing human being can do is purification of your own personality. That's what he means. Swadhyaya jnana yajna. And that is not easy. For that, you need to put efforts. And it's no joke. So therefore, there is an appeal to all seekers that get to the efforts. It's okay, initially it's okay that you want to go somewhere, you want to go on a pilgrimage or place of worship to get that inspiration. Why not? But you need to go beyond that, and you need to find that supreme reality within you. So therefore, he says, alas, Anta, well, what can I tell you? Already I have told you. So that's the psychology in verse number 19. 20, please.
अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशयस्थितः अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च.
Translation. I am the self, O Gudakesha, Arjuna, seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. Now, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha. The literal meaning of the word Gudakesha is one who has conquered his sleep, meaning a dynamic person, a go-getter, a successful person. But still such a person is steeped in ignorance. A dynamic dreamer, a very successful dreamer, a very famous dreamer is completely steeped in ignorance. You get the point? So what's the point? Yes, credit is given that you are dynamic, that particular quality. There is no doubt about that. You are a go-getter, you're a dashing person, you're a proactive person. But in spite of all these positive qualities, you are still very much in ignorance. So exactly same thing applies to, any person who is dynamic, any person who is a go-getter. So the appeal is direct your efforts, energy to conquer the ignorance which is obscuring your divinity. And it is easy for a dynamic person. Why it is easy for a dynamic person? Because he is willing to put efforts, he is used to put efforts. And to evolve spiritually, you have to be dynamic. You have to put efforts. There is no other way. It's not easy. I'm in this field for last close to 30 years, and many of you have been associated with this knowledge for a long time. Whenever we meet and whenever there is an opportunity for me to educate them, there is only one message. Are you studying every day? If you're a lazy person, how can you do that? That's what lazy person does in the spiritual path. World also he has been lazy, couldn't achieve much. My father will get me a job, or my friend will, or some government scheme, that scheme, some subsidy I want. All that he is doing. And when he comes to spiritual path, same approach he or she may have with the God. Okay, I go pray every day in the morning or once a week, sincerely I pray. After that, it is God's headache, it's not my headache. I'll go play golf, let God earn money for me or work for me or whatever. The same when it comes to spiritual path. That's the reason people flock to Guru. There is a positive aspect of it, there is no doubt. But the vast majority who go, they go for a blessing. And they believe that Guru's blessing will transform your personality. That experience may transform your personality, in a sense, it may inspire you. But no guru can put efforts for you. See, Swamiji has been traveling all over the world. Last 4 years, he stopped till the age of 95. That New York talk, Manhattan talk, Swamiji was 95, rather.
93, Amaji.
93 was, 93, 94.
2019.
2019. And after that, 20 also, we had booked a bigger auditorium in Manhattan. Also in Michigan, we had booked 2,000 people auditorium. But then the COVID hit. So the point is, see, if you see the average spiritual guru, wherever he lands, there are hundreds of people. Hundreds of people. And wherever Swamiji traveled, nobody knew except the host. He never encouraged all this. My point is, why hundreds of people flock? Hundreds of people, they flock. I mean, if you have not experienced that, it is something worth experiencing. So they believe that if he touches them, life will be transformed. And then go home and do whatever you're doing. Fight with the wife, selfishly functioning. So therefore, that dynamism is must. So a person who is dynamic, who is willing to put efforts, it is a prerequisite to follow spiritual path for a true seeker. And for such a seeker, it is far easier to remove his ignorance, to fight his desires, because he's hardworking. He can be consistent in his or her efforts. That's the main point here. Therefore, Arjuna is addressed as a Gudakesha, all of us, a dynamic, go-getter person. If you're not, then develop that quality. And I am seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. So it is another way of saying God is all pervading, supreme reality is all pervading. It's like waves. Waves, they arise from the ocean, they exist in the ocean, they merge back into the ocean. Ornaments are made from the gold, they remain as gold, and they melt back into the gold. So similarly, beings, all the beings, they arise from Supreme Reality, you and me, exist in Supreme Reality, and merge back into Supreme Reality. So therefore, what is your true identity?
Supreme Reality.
That's what you are. So Godhood or Godhead or divinity is your true identity, which you have never lost, you cannot lose. But at this moment, we feel we have lost it. Wave has never lost its identity as an ocean. Even when the wave says, I'm not the ocean, I don't know what is ocean, it is ocean who is talking. The tiny little ring, gold ring, say, what is gold? I don't know what is gold. What are you talking about? You know, much ado about nothing. Everybody talking gold, gold, gold. What is this gold? She is questioning, you know. Even when she is questioning a non-believer gold ring, a person who say, what is God? I don't believe in God. Who is asking, who is making that statement?
God.
God who is saying, I don't believe in God, right? Absurd. So Godhood or divinity is our true identity. All right, so 10:32, time to conclude. Any quick question, 1 or 2 minutes, I will give you. If something has really bothered you from today's discussion, not clear. All right, so have a wonderful weekend, and there will be class next week. Some of you may not be able to attend, I understand, but in that case, you can always watch the recording, you know.
Thanks, Amit.
Somebody should be here, otherwise only I will be there, you know. Everybody says, okay, I'll watch the recording. So even if there are a handful of people, class will go on.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Amit.
you, Amit ji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.